Hey everyone, so a new video regarding how to add professional intro in a project using Vinci Resolve. Let's get going. So first thing first, you need to bring the media from the pool of the videos available. The DaVinci Resolve will take its time to parse the videos according to the specification of computer that you have. Once you have the videos available on the timeline, we'll see how we can make a good intro out of it. Now, as a first option, you can use a simple text-based title as your intro, which is pretty basic in nature. But today we'll see how we can go for an advanced one. So just as per the sequence, you align your videos and you bring your text-based effect. Now today we'll see something advanced, which is fusion composition. So within the same, let's say toolbars, effect library, effects, fusion composition, and let me pick a perfect spot in order to place the intro, or if you call it a transformation or just an effect or variation. So let's see what are the nitty-gritty details of it. If you click on it, and in the bottom, if you see, you have options. You can go to effects library. In DaVinci Resolve, you have a dedicated place to go to the Fusion tab, which is on the bottom center. As soon as you click that, you will be able to see the clip details from 0 all the way up to the 146th, let's say, frames in this example. So everything in Fusion revolves around the nodes. So you kind of have a workflow or flow chart mechanism. In order to have the pieces of the flow, the first thing we would like to have is a background. So if you just pick a background, it will be a plain black background. And in order to link it with the flow, you can click from the connector available after the background one to the media out one. So anything which you have behind or before media one will be visible in the output screen. So in the beginning, it will be a very boring black screen, which is not so cool. So we change the color of it. You can go to the inspector tab. If the inspector is already disabled, you can just click here to enable it. And within the available colors, you can select any of the color that you like. At the moment, I would be picking up green as a color, and you have a range of colors available, whichever suits you. It should go along with the footage that you have, so you can have your creativity in place here. Now, in order to spice it up or just to give a title to make it meaningful, I will pick up an object called text and I'll align it. And an ideal thing is to connect it from um, object perspective to something else. So I won't connect it directly to media out. I just link it to the background one. And as soon as I connect it to the background one, it will immediately create a simple, let's say, merge object, meaning anything which happens before merge one will be I was treated as a single object. I give some sort of a meaningful description to it. Let's say I want to have a video on a simple crash course. In order to have a beautiful intro, I put a title on top of it, and I can have my, let's say, flexibility to align it either by picking it or clicking it, or I can, from the inspector as well, I can change the x-axis or y-axis location. So either way, you align it to make it more meaningful, and then you apply a mask on top of it. The reason for applying a mask is that I want to hide the text before it is appearing in the right place, and anything which is outside the mask will be not visible. So the text will be there, but it will kind of getting into or swimming into the rectangle, if you will. So I place my rectangle based on a particular position. You select the right positioning, you can twist and turn if you want. So there is a lot of room for creative intelligence, whichever way you want to call it. We somehow align it based on the requirement. For example, if I mask in the center of the, let's say, screen, before my text appears inside the rectangle, it will be visible. So in order to bring it outside the rectangle, I would have to use the concept of keyframes. So we will tell which keyframe will be used at which particular timestamp. So in the beginning, we want to keep the text on the left hand side, which essentially will be hidden because of the mask. So within inspector, you can go to the second tab, and from there you can modify the placement of keyframes. So at the moment I am on 24th frame. I selected the keyframe, and if I want to go back a little bit, I want to have a different place of the text. So on point zero, let's say, we will tweak the position and we will relocate it in a manner that it will be outside the rectangle. So now I can just place it way on the left hand side, and let's see what is the effect of it. Next step, I would be playing it to see how this looks like. So let me gently place the text in the right place and play. And the timeline, as if you play on that main timeline, you can play it here as well. And it will be a continuous non-stop play just to show you what will be the, let's say, final outcome as media out one. So this is the final output. One thing that you would be noticing is that the ending is quite abrupt. So this is something which you can change and you can make it a bit smoother. Spline option is there to make your life easier in this place. So if you just select spline, it will give you quite a confusing screen, but nevertheless you can simply click on the text one or all the objects that you want to select. Again, the view is quite difficult to understand in the beginning, but don't worry, you can simply click on the zoom to fit option. This will bring it back to a stagnant position and it will make your life slightly easier. So if you just hit spacebar, the continuous playback will stop and you will see the transition pace. In order to make the transition smooth, you can play around with the transition points. And if you want to make it quite fast in the beginning and less steady in the ending or not so abrupt, you can kind of tweak and you can play with it based on your creative skills. Uh, I would try not to have multiple points tweaked at the same time. So what I'll try to do is, oops, it can go easily out of your hands, but no problem. You can control Z and come out of it anytime you want. And in my opinion, if you just select a particular region, for example, the ending region where you want to have the transition a bit smooth, you can control Z, get out of everything, and you can simply modify from the last keyframes. Because you don't want to reduce the speed in the beginning. You want the text to appear inside the triangle, and as a final transition, you can slow it down. So select the final frames, make the transition a bit smoother, and this will give you a pretty nice looking, let's say, transition. Once you are done with this, you need to see how it really appears. The one thing which I find quite not, let's say, convenient on the eyes is one single color. To get more creative sort of look, or to get more soothing kind of look, what I'll do is I'll add some sort of a background on top of the existing. This will be, please note, this will be hiding all the available objects. So you might want to place it strategically at a place where you can play with the underlying visibility. So first thing first, I will connect it after the original objects so that it is appearing as the final stage before the image gets into media out one. So simply clicking the end to the merge one point before media out. So it will essentially create a new object or merge object, and in the beginning it will be a very awkward looking black circle. What I want to do is I want to invert the color. Please note I have selected ellipse as the mask. So background black, ellipse on top of the background to cover it. Now you can play with the border width and softness and other variable aspects to kind of make it a bit of shiny and light on eyes. Furthermore, you have more options available. If you select the object or a node, you have tons and tons of options to play with. Furthermore, you can also, one other thing that I would like to highlight is if you play with the blend, it will give you a very nice look and feel. And especially if you move the intro in the beginning or squeeze it in between multiple clips, that will make an awesome, awesome appearance. Now let's play it one more time. Uh, Based on the specification of the computer, you will see some of the delays perhaps because this is the point where you would be needing a lot of your GPU power. Now, once we are done, let's play it and see if it is fitting the length of our intro clip. Let me play it one more time. Okay, easy peasy. And then our final clips play along real smooth. So that was it. Thank you for staying with me, and I expect to have more and more intro videos, especially addressing the complex animations and mixer options. Thank you.